pretty face, obviously you can see why, but also called a whiptail wallaby, and that's because they have a very, very long tail. This is a fully grown adult here, so they don't get much bigger than that. And we see these, it's quite common to see these around the resort, along with the eastern grey kangaroo. So it's not unusual to see these guys around the lodge.
When you have breakfast tomorrow, you'll see them there. You might bash your sausage.
That would sound really good to some people. Okay.
It's not French.
Not French. Oh, sorry, this is sparkling wine. That's right. You fellas were all funny about champagne, didn't you? Not anymore. That's right. I remember. So it doesn't bother me. Ladies, please. Welcome to the Australian. Come out of the cave. So now it's dark enough. The bats start to come out.
Yeah.
The birds of prey, the goshawks, you can see the bats starting to come out there now, look.
Yeah.
And these birds swoop down to catch the bats for food. So the birds want to eat the bats.
They just went in. Look.
There, look. The bats can't detect on their echolocation the birds. Here he comes again. Look, 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 look. Boom, got another one.
No, they didn't go on first time.
It's very, very important not to put your light on.
Okay.
Because if you put your light on, the bats will go back into the cave.
Okay.
Okay, so if you have a camera, what you want to do is you want to set it up now before we go down there. And what we're going to do is just put your flash on automatic. All right, because if the camera's trying to focus, you won't get a good picture. So if you set your flash to automatic now, there may be snakes down here. I don't like snakes, so don't touch. No touching snakes, no picking them up, no handling them. Not allowed, okay? If you see snake, step away from the snake. Leave the snake, all right? Okay?
照片那个因为你们都有 LED 的那个屏幕嘛哈，一定要遮光，所以放在胸前，遮光，遮光，看。
They won't fly in. They won't hit you.
Now remember, they don't use their eyes. They use sound, echolocation. It's very, very accurate. I've walked down here hundreds of times. I've had them brush my hat, but never fly into my face.
它回声定位很准，所以它不会去撞到脸。
Back on them. Okay, and keep your hands down like this. Don't wave your arms around because you'll hit them. Okay, so slowly, slowly.
好，慢慢的走。
In this cave.
Are they coming back in it or coming out?
They go out and they feed all night and they come back in the morning just before sunrise.
No, I mean those ones living.
Are new each time.
They're new each time.
New each time.
They are flowing out.
All new.
Yeah. So they are really a lot.
This is like
There's about 300,000 bats in here.
300,000.
And they will continue to come out like this for an hour.
No way.
Yes.
The goshawk caught one.
So this is it's a spectacle every evening, but this also happens every morning. But it's in reverse. They're going into the cave in reverse. So the goshawks are here. The snakes that get in the trees here in the entrance, they're here. So it's the opposite in the morning, but it's like this, the same number of bats all going back in.
How do they know it's nighttime?
How do they know it's nighttime?
Yeah, you said they
Temperature?
don't have
Well,
good
they
eyes.
do have eyes, but they don't use their eyes to see when they fly,
Okay,
because they fly so fast. They use this echolocation.
alright.
Okay, so I would assume, I'm not a bat expert, but I would assume that they know it's night because it gets darker, it gets cooler, and because the pressure changes.
Okay.
All right.
And time, I think too. Yeah, they just have a knowledge of the time of them being there.
Possibly.
It's like we
They
do.
probably get hungry
Yeah.
because they eat all night and sleep all day. So when they wake up and get hungry, they must know that it must be time to feed soon.
And they always come back here. They
Yeah.
know how to come back.
Yeah, they come back to this roost, not all year, only in the breeding season. During the year, they disperse out into the woodland, to other caves, into other places. But they all come back to breed here.
Okay.
Now, when we go down, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stairs with no handrail. Please be careful. Watch where you're going. When we get down, you'll see the handrail going down into the cave. This is where we have to go one behind the other. They're going to be flying in your face. Just put your head down and walk to the bottom, okay? It's a little bit daunting, but it's okay. We
You can
ready?
Still keep your face up. If you
Down.
want to.
They're
If you want
making
to.
Oh, if you want to.
they're making
they will-
sounds, but we can't hear them.
They're eating only insects.
Only insects.
Because if you keep your face up, they will not touch you anyway.
Well, they shouldn't. They shouldn't. Look how many there are, and they're all coming out of that one little hole.
Okay.
We're going to walk into that hole, so
Right.
there is a chance that they. You'll see them fly out, but there are some bats that turn around and come back in. They will fly out, turn around, and come back in. Okay, so the sound you can hear most is the sound of their wings. You can hear faint cricket sounds or insect sounds. But what we can't hear is the sound of the echolocation that's being emitted. The echolocation is in a frequency much higher than what we, the human ear, can detect. But what we can hear, if we listen very carefully, is the chatter of their communication. They communicate between each other while they fly. If one was to be grasped by a snake at this point, you would absolutely hear it cry, because they screech when they get caught. Ready? Are we all ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Now, look at the bat flow. Look up. It's stopped. Completely stopped. Nothing. Now, let's just watch back behind us and watch it start again. You watch these bats. They go out, turn around, come back. Out of the trees here. This is extremely dangerous. Every time they go out and turn around and come back, they stand a risk of being captured out of the air by snakes. And this is one of the reasons why we've fought so long to have no lights in the lava tubes. Because the minute you put lights in them, no matter even if they were really low, dull wattage lights, it's going to change the environment so much that the bats that rely on this environment as a home will then be forced to move somewhere else to survive. And that to me is not sustainable. Just hide the light, keep the light against your chest. Are we all ready? Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And as you can see, the bats have stopped. 180 meters long. And you can walk in 500 meters, and the last 100 meters is a lake. But it's very, very shallow. It's not, and it's just very muddy and slippery. And the water is full of bat urine and feces, and I wouldn't drink that water at all. It's not very nice.
So during the day, all the bats are hanging on the...
But way in.
Way in?
Way in, not in the entrance. Because it just depends, you see. The reason these bats are here is because all of these bats are female bats. Yeah, all female. And what's happened is they've bred with the male. They are impregnated, so they're pregnant. And the males are all banished. And the females live here together. When the young are born, they give birth to the young. And the young are born with no hair. So they look like little white mice. And the mothers take them way down to the back of the cave where the temperature doesn't rise or fall more than about 1 degree. And the reason for this is if the little bats get cold, they will die. Okay? So they put them up on the roof, and they put them all together so they share their body warmth. So they all stay warm. Okay? At night, most of the mothers come out to feed, but some of the mothers stay in there to protect the babies. Because in here there's snakes, there's birds of prey. Okay, well not birds of prey, but birds. There are frogs, cane toads. There are many things in here that will eat the bats. The mothers will come out and feed all night, and when they return in the morning, the first thing they do is feed their babies. Now, one mother can have up to 3 babies. The babies nurse, so they drink milk from their mother. When the babies are fed, the mother then sleeps for the rest of the day. Then she will go out and feed again at night, or it might be her turn to look after the babies while the other mothers go. And they do this for 3 months, and then the babies are fully grown and they fly off by themselves.
So how many years?
How many?
Years. How long do
I don't know how long they live, I'm sorry. Go to other sections of cave, plus the males. Some of these bats are so small that they don't have to live in caves. They can live in hollows in the trees. They live in buildings. So we get bats in different parts of the resort, in the rooms and in the staff bathrooms. I've seen bats in there. And some of the bats are so small that they can land on the bark of a tree, and they're almost the same color as the bark, and they disappear under the ridges of the bark. So they actually sleep on the bark in the tree, and the bark is actually higher than the little bats. So they're very, very small. Incredible. They're one of the most amazing creatures in the bush, I think, because you think about it, they can echolocate, they can communicate, they can look for food and watch for predators, all while they're flying. Like how incredible is that, you know? That's why they're all female. If they were male, we would hit a tree for sure, because we can't do more than one thing at a time.
Yeah, that's
Get your camera ready. Count of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, so there's the cave going down there. You can see the bats disappearing. Let's have a look quickly in here and see if we can see any snakes. It's always a good idea to look around my feet first. Not keen on snakes, I have to say. Let's have a look up here. Brown tree snakes. Which are also known as, night tigers. We get like a children's python, which are found in the larva tubes as well. And sometimes you'll get black-headed pythons down here as well. Most commonly, they're all brown tree snakes. They're the most common of all the snakes we find here at the cave entrance. But not too many tonight, not any yet.